Hi, I'm Mike Damergis for Old School Sports. Lyman Bostock was one of the bright stars in baseball in 1977, playing alongside future Hall of Famer Rod Carew with the Minnesota Twins. Carew led the AL in hitting at .338, while Bostock finished second with a .336 average. After the season, Bostock left the Twins and signed a big contract with Gene Autry's California Angels. Bostock struggled early on with his new team, batting only .150 in the month of April. In 2007, I had a heartfelt conversation with Bostock's teammate, Carney Lansford.
I hit second that year in the lineup at a certain point when Jim Fregosi took over halfway through the season. He moved me right into the number 2 slot, and Lyman hit third. And he just really took care of me. You know, I was the only rookie on an all-veteran major league team, and he paid attention to me. And he would talk to me, and in fact, he got to a point, you know, I don't know if people realize he got off such a terrible start in '78 it was, that I think he tried to donate his first half the season money to charity, and Gene Autry wouldn't let him do that.
Bostock donated close to $40,000 to various charities, and soon after he caught fire in June, batting .404. Lansford recalls how Bostock would signal hit and runs without the consent of the manager.
And it got to a point where he felt so confident that he would tell me in the on-deck circle, hey, if you're on first base, if you see me step out of the box and I tuck in my shirt, take off, hit and run.
Bostock was batting .296 entering the last week of the season, and after a Sunday afternoon game against the White Sox in Chicago, Lyman had plans to visit some family members in Gary, Indiana. Both Lansford and first baseman Ron Jackson were invited, but both decided not to go.
I'll never forget this. I was supposed to have been in the car with him, I'll be honest with you. He came to pick me up at the hotel, and Don Baylor ran down to my room and said, hey, Lyman came looking for you. And I said, well, what? He said he wanted you to go with him. I told him if I was going over to my aunt's house to get something to eat, if I'd be back in time, I'll go with him.
And he invited me to his place in Gary. He wanted me to meet his family and come to dinner that night. And, you know, I was just a rookie, and I really didn't want, you know, I just wanted to get my rest and finish the season. So, I turned him down or whatever. And that night, Rance Mullenix and I were rooming together at the hotel, and Kenny Landreau and Danny Goodwin came in. We had just turned off our TV, just ready to fall asleep. I think our eyes had just closed, and we heard those guys walking in. They were in the room right next to us. They said something about, we just heard them say something about they don't think he's going to make it, or whatever, but we didn't pay any attention because we didn't know what was going on. And probably about 30 seconds later, our phone rang, and it was Rance Mullenix's wife in Southern California saying that Lyman had been shot, and they didn't think he was going to make it.
Suddenly, Lyman Bostock was gone, and Lansford would be put in a position no one would ever want to be in.
So, lo and behold, we get to the park the next day, and Fregosi hits me third. And I just immediately think, how am I going to do this? I can't replace this guy. This is Lyman Bostock. Are you kidding me? And I believe it was like Francisco Barrio. I think he was pitching that day. And my first time up, for whatever reason, God bless me, and I hit a home run. And I just remember trotting to first base and kind of just pointing to the sky. It's like, that's for you, Lyman. And I just kind of broke down. I mean, I couldn't deal with that whole thing. I still think about him a lot because he's such a great guy, and he was such a great guy in the clubhouse. And him and really Joe Rudy were really the two guys that paid attention to me at all my rookie year, on that team. So I still miss him tremendously. The things that we used to talk about, and just what a great player he was. He's, I thought, an underrated outfielder as well as such a great hitter.
Lyman Bostock, gone but never forgotten. For more on the full interviews with Carney Lansford and Ron Jackson, go to madsports.com. For Old School Sports, I'm Mike Damergis.